wonderful organ known as the heart. The study of the heart is a major field of study. Anyone who chooses to go into this definitely has my utmost respect. I have a friend, her husband is getting ready to go do a fellowship up in Minnesota because he's going to be an electrophysiologist for the heart, talking about all the electrical conductivity, the actual beating of the heart. And it is so cool, you know, getting to follow that and see the process of it. So cardiology is a huge area of science. This organ right here, which granted, this little model is not the best, but it is what we've got. So this system, we are going to see, once again, we've done the blood, we've got the heart, we're going to do the vessels. The heart itself is termed a muscular pump. If you remember, there are 3 types of muscles in the body. We have our skeletal, smooth, and now cardiac. So this cardiac muscle, do you guys remember actin and myosin from skeletal muscle? All right, it's going to have actin and myosin present. And so it's just a little bit different arrangement. Mitochondria, huge amount here in these cells because this structure, these muscle cells require huge amounts of oxygen and nutrients. So the structure of the actual muscle portion is going to be similar, but we're going to have some differences that are present to skeletal. The vessels of this system, one of the things that they noted in the video, they talked about these great vessels, all right? If you look at this little model that we've got, and I'm trying to see if mine will pop off. Ah, there we go. Okay, so if we're looking at this model that we have, they're giving a good representation of how large these vessels at the heart are. For example, the aorta, the pulmonary trunk and branches, okay? So it's trying to give us a representation of the size of these vessels for the blood that needs to be moved through this organ. The 2 divisions that you are going to find, did anybody pick up on them saying right versus left? Like right atria, left atria, right ventricle, left ventricle, okay? So if you're holding that heart like that, this is how you would think of it in the body, okay? So right side, left side, okay? It is our right side of the heart that we call the pulmonary circuit.
Real quick, so if I'm looking at it, it would be the right side is on my left?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that is a good thing to note. As you are looking at your model like this would be the right side, this is the left side. So the opposite of what you would think about. Sometimes, if you need to, like me, you'll notice how I'm holding it, okay? So that I can demonstrate right versus the left, okay? Now, on the right side of the heart, taking a peek at it, the way that we've got it right here, do you notice this, like what looks like a huge division on each side, anterior and posterior, okay? So it's kind of looking like you've got that division, right versus left, okay? The right side is termed our pulmonary circuit. In the video, they tried to show, they usually represent oxygenated versus deoxygenated with those colors of red and blue. Blue usually represents deoxygenated, red oxygenated. So they were trying to show the blue coming back to the right side of the heart and the red leaving the left side of the heart. So, the right side of the heart, once the blood returns, it needs to now move it to the lungs. And that is why it is called the pulmonary circuit. On the left side, the systemic circuit. This one serves or moves the blood to the systems of the body, so that when the blood leaves the left side of the heart, it is now going to go to all our systems. Think about your digestive system, urinary system, skeletal system, all the systems of the body it's going to go to. Guess what organ it hits first? Which organ system?
Digestive.
Kidneys. What is the job of the kidneys?
Filter.
To filter. So we're having that blood go to the kidneys first. That's going to get real interesting when we get to that chapter. So if we look at the circuits, they're trying to represent here our systemic circuit on the left side of the body, showing, well, the picture kind of got cut off, didn't it? Odd. Anyway, the aorta that would be leaving the left side of the heart, serving all systems, all tissues, all cells of the body. This systemic circuit meets the pulmonary circuit at a capillary bed. Do you remember them mentioning the arterioles, the venules?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I kind of liked how, when they were showing that in the video, it had two arrows, like where you had the arteriole, you had the venules, and they had two arrows, and they said, this is the place for exchange. Because this is the only spot in the body where exchange occurs, meaning anything from that blood, oxygen, nutrients, whatever the case might be, that is where once, because these capillary beds, the capillary beds are found in the tissue level at the cells. Okay, does everybody remember that? All right, so all these capillary beds that we have throughout our body, because they're everywhere, okay? You got the blood flow in, you're going to have blood flow out. They meet at that point of a capillary bed. And it's only this very small portion anything gets to exchange. Any type of oxygen, nutrients gets to be dropped off, waste get to be picked up, okay? That's the only place. So the goal is making sure oxygen-rich blood makes it to the cells, because cells need the oxygen in the process of cellular respiration to make ATP to keep the cells working. In that process, it gives off CO2, for example, a waste, okay? And we need to get rid of that. So it can pick that up, return it to the lungs for us to breathe out. Now that's simplified, okay? But in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty much what's happening with the blood flow. The difference is the movement of anything. Now note my terminology, okay? The movement of anything, meaning oxygen, fluids, nutrients, waste, water, whatever the case might be. Movement of anything is going to depend on pressure. Pressure of the heart itself, as well as pressure in the vessels, pressure in the tissues. Pretty much, we're going to be dependent on pressures. So, now, everybody, let's stand up. Take a breath. Yes. Get up out of those chairs. Help me answer that question. Distinguish between a pulmonary circuit, a systemic circuit.
The pulmonary is from the left side, or from the right side, and goes to your lungs, and the systemic is from the left side and goes to your systems, starting with your kidneys.
Everybody agree with that? So, pulmonary is from the right side to go to the lungs, because we got to drop stuff off, okay? We got to pick stuff up, especially the oxygen, okay? Then, okay, systemic circuit, we've now got oxygenated, we need to drop it off at the tissue level, all right? Good deal. All right, now sit back in.
Does the pulmonary just go to the lungs, or does it just start at the lungs like the systemic starts at the kidneys?
No. Oh, well, no. Yeah, the systemic will not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily start at the kidneys. It's going to be the first organ system that it stops at, that it makes it to. So, as we look, okay, so if we're thinking about this wonderful organ, the aorta that's coming off of it, all right, one thing that begins to happen as soon as we reach the arch, okay, it begins to have vessels, these arteries that are going to go up, okay, going upward, they get to go serve the thorax, the upper limbs, the head, and the neck, all right, and then it makes that arch begins to descend, all right, and as they descend, the first organ system it gets to hit is the kidneys, which is going to be very interesting, especially when we get to that system, all right, because one of the things that's going to have to happen when I say that blood flow has to go to all tissues, cells of the body, okay, based on demand, all right, it will also be picking up waste. So that means that as that blood returns back through these huge vena cava. Do you guys